So good to see you again, Scorpio. Thanks for joining me. Dadhichi Toth here from astrology.com.au with your month of June 2018 in focus. Big things happening in the heavens now. I'm sure you've heard, or some of you have, of this planet here. Uranus now doing its revolutionary dance, or starting to, in the sign of Taurus, which happens to be the marital sector of your horoscope. So the 7th house of the zodiac for Scorpio, which means, of course, big changes are going to happen in any of those areas where you have an intimate, number one, an intimate link with someone emotionally, or two, a strong link or bond commercially, business-wise. It's interesting too, because there's another view that the 7th house isn't just only those intimate relationships, but it's people generally. So you may find, if you're anything like me, because a lot of you know that I'm born under the Scorpion, that you will be shifting in terms of the way you associate with people generally. Some of you may be feeling as if you're sort of done with people. Some of you may become complete recluses. You might end up going to the Himalayas, getting away from the rat race. In any case, whatever way this planet affects you, you will certainly find yourself over the next 6 or 7 years in a very different mental space in how you wish to relate to people, relate to your business partners, and most importantly, relate to your spouse, partner, or significant other. Now, for those of you who are not yet in a relationship, this can also indicate the very distinct shift in the type of person you want to be with. You may have had in the back of your mind an ideal, someone that you feel you could be with, but that's changing as well. You see, I've animated the chart now. I want to talk to you about how just moving into this important Moon-Uranus conjunction starts to trigger some of these elements of the zodiac. Now, don't go packing up and going to Mount Meru. Saturn here, as you can see, the blue lines are considered good aspects or contributing factors to the energy of that planet. Got a couple of mixed ones here. On balance, most of them are a little bit harsh. Venus here, the planet ruling your marital affairs, is in the hard aspect. We see here Saturn moving over the next year or so into this conjunction with Pluto, the illuminative and transformative planet, in a nice constraining trine aspect, a triangular 120-degree aspect. So it is bringing a little bit of a check on that planet, but you're still being challenged by this. The moon will trigger this and you'll start to think more deeply about it. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about this month is the important new moon that takes place here in your shared resources sector. Mercury moves out on the 13th into the 9th house, and on the 14th the new moon here, which is loosely, well, Mercury already at an opposition to Saturn. Deep thinking, slow thinking, muddled thinking. But this is the level of intimacy the new moon shows, along with this Uranus, at least in the more immediate future, the shift and appropriate changes that may need to be made to basically the way you interact on an intimate level, the way you share your feelings, the way you connect. And not only with other people, because intimacy, I think, has a lot to do with the way you look at yourself. Intimacy. You know, often we relate this word to intimacy as a concerted effort between two or more people, if you're that way inclined. But this is what I'm talking about here, is the spiritual component of this 8th house, very hidden house, into the self-talk, the way you look at yourself, what it is within yourself that is lacking or obfuscated and hidden by your own inability to see yourself clearly. So that is what this does, and Mercury, having been there as well for a while, is showing that you're about to make the appropriate changes and shift your perception. Venus in the 10th house here. Let's get away from Uranus for a moment. I want to give you some really great news. This is really lovely. You can socialise in your professional activities. You can get some absolutely good things going there with Venus ruling your 7th house. Still not out of the woods there with the, well, this square aspect from the North Node. I want to stop there for a moment because I think this is important in terms of those of you who've been struggling a little bit in your work. You've really got to make some headway now, and that's only going to happen by using the power of the North Node, what we call Rahu. Here you've got one of your ruling planets, Mars, aspecting by opposition from the past karma point of your past deeds and actions. The influence here. This means spreading your net far wider than you have and allowing yourself to connect with, I guess, cultural and societal elements that may not have been part of your thing. And by doing that, you can have good success here. It shows opportunities in foreign areas because Venus rules your 12th house as well as your 7th house of partnerships. So spread the net, cast it far and wide. Don't be afraid to do what you have to do here. Now, Venus is moving slowly here, as you can see, in the upper part of the horoscope. Things will start to take place here, and there's some opportune times contractually, financially here around the 26th. Towards the latter part of the month here, Venus starts to move up in speed. And then you've got the full moon there around the 27th, 28th. The full moon, the moon is a good planet for you, but here it's really, really constricted in its connection with Saturn and Pluto. This is communication and contracts. You've got to look at this. There may be some problems associated with that. And this again has to do with your understanding. Don't go into anything blinkered. And by that I don't mean blinkered about what other people are presenting, but blinkered by what it is you're trying to acquire. Reason out for yourself what the motivation is for that. This comes from within yourself as much as it does from other people in terms of trying to secure a good deal that's of use to you. Here we see the final day or two. They're in the 4th house. A lot of energy, a lot of dynamic power in the domestic sphere of your life. So maybe make some time, some downtime with family at that point. Look forward to your company again. Don't forget, as usual, stop over, astrology.com.au. I've written a piece on the disruptive influence of Uranus for all of the 12 star signs. Take a look at that, along with the month in focus, the daily readings, yearly focus as well, 2018, all there for you. And until next month, have a great one. Bye-bye.